What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Content is King. I'm your host, Kilohmz, and today, this week, I wanted to do something a little bit different. So what I chose to do this time was I took ideas from chat from the past couple days, and I was like, hey, yo, chat, what would you like to hear me talk about for a few minutes? And so we grabbed some of their ideas, and I put them down in a notepad. And so that's what I'm going to talk to you guys about. This is going to be a viewer created podcast. Basically, I have six little topics they want me to talk about. Some of them are actual content stuff. Some of them are like, weird things. And some of them might give you guys a little bit more insight into me. So that was my goal today, was just going to give that. I've also got stuff set up on my content calendar for later on. Where's my content calendar? I should have this pulled up already. There it is. Yeah, I have about 28 other ideas set up already, which will get me through most of a lot of the year. Actually, one of them I'm actually doing right now, so we're gonna strike through that one. But there's still a lot on there, lots of stuff that I'm really excited to talk about. So we're going to talk about those, and then I will also set up my actual calendar so that way I know when things are going to happen. Now, if you guys want to follow me and whatnot, please click on the link down below. It's my Linktree. It has my links to everything, my Twitch, my Facebook, where you can listen to this podcast, because it's on multiple different platforms. So you guys can share that out, share it with your friends, stuff like that. I would love to get to hear from you guys on my Twitter, which is also in that link. But if you won't, don't feel like using a link, at mindofkill, MINDOFKIL. Hi, Mike. So that's the best way to reach me. And yeah, that's what I got for you guys. So I guess we should probably get into this. And we're going to start talking about this stuff. So the first thing that I got asked about was TikTok, and was told that they'd like to hear me talk about TikTok. So if you don't know, TikTok is what tried to come in and replace Vine. It started off as Musical.ly, and it came out about 2 to 3 years ago, and it was basically lip syncing to music while in cosplay, is what it was in Musical.ly. It looked very not good. It looked very unacceptable, if you will. It was definitely not what I remember when I first looked at. I was like, no, because it just looked like it just did not look like a safe place to be. Now TikTok, it went through a rebrand and became TikTok. TikTok lets you have anywhere from 1 seconds to 60-second videos. Basically in a style like Vine, where they loop on their own and you can watch as many as you want. Once you start scrolling, it's hard to stop. I've made some TikToks. I generally put stream highlights up on my TikTok, and it seems to do pretty well. I'm got like 5,000 some odd followers on TikTok. And yeah, I'm going to check all that stuff right now, because that's really easy. Yeah, so I have 5,600 over there on TikTok. Not really bad. Most of my videos average somewhere between 200 and 1,500 views. Stream highlights end up doing better for me personally, whereas anything that's a vlog, reaction, stuff like that does not do as well. Now, I digress. I still think that TikTok's a wonderful thing. It basically was kind of like being made to replace Vine, right? So Vine was the original 6-second thing, and they've actually come out with Byte now, which I'm just scared to try. I literally got a Byte so I'd have my username if I choose to use it. But currently it was just like, oh hey, here's Byte. Cool. It's 6 seconds long. It's supposed to be more like Vine and more discoverability. It's not going to run off algorithms and selecting people to share stuff and stuff like that. Where TikTok is very like hashtag heavy, and you have to play the game if you want your stuff to get out there. You have to have people that want to share it to build on the algorithm. And they actually came out. There's certain point values that everything does. Like a like gives you 1 point, a comment gives you like 3 points, sharing it gives you like 5 or 10 points. And so for every time you accumulate those points, it goes up into a higher tier for more people to see it. So then you get more and more points, and it basically makes a snowball effect. It's really cool in practice if you like making shorthand content, if you like making little trailers about things. Like I could make a YouTube video and then make a trailer about the YouTube video in my TikTok and send all the people over to my YouTube to go check it out, to build discoverability for my YouTube and to actually build that on up, which is really neat. As well as, oh, hey, I'm doing a giveaway on my Instagram, so it gets people to go over to these other platforms too. I've actually had one company reach out to me on TikTok because of how well I was doing when I was posting all the time, but I wasn't really into what they were trying to get me to do. So I was kind of like, nah, I appreciate it, but like I'm not really wanting to work with you on that. And so, yeah, but that was kind of the idea of what it was. I like TikTok. I think it's really cool. I think that it's very niche. If you can find content you like putting up and like viewing there, you will find that content, but there's a lot of cringe on there too. And so a lot of this cringe is kind of like, in my opinion, it's really bad. Like I honestly cannot stand some of the stuff that's on there, right? Like it's just, oh my God, it's so bad. So, I avoided, I scroll past it. But that's kind of what TikTok is. It's not great. I mean, you can make things on it. I might do a podcast more later on actually talking about actual creation and stuff I've done that helped me out and grow. But that's, I guess, just a quick to do on TikTok. I'd rather formulate something out that's really nice and well done. This is pretty much all just kind of improv and gone through. So just my quick thoughts on these things. But yeah, that's TikTok. It's a really cool platform. I can see the cringe in it, but I mean, there's people from 13 all the way to in their 40s and 50s that are using it. So it's a very, very broad platform. It has a lot of potential to do things. But I haven't seen as much great potential for monetization of your content unless you're live streaming. And then other than that, there's really no great way for it. Other than that, you build up, you might meet some companies. That's really it. At least that's what I've noticed on TikTok. It's really not that bad, but I find it interesting. So the next thing, I'm going to give in one of the funny ones. Marshmallows versus Peeps. If you guys don't know, Peeps are sugar-colored marshmallows. And I will go with Peeps every day. I love me some Peeps. I used to eat Peeps by the boxes. Those were the best. Having that extra sugar, the texture of a Peep. Oh my gosh. Plus it was, you were eating a little bird. You're like, and you're like, no, don't eat me. Tweet, 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 tweet. And you're like, oh my gosh, I can't. Anyway. So I'll go with Peeps on that one. Peeps are definitely would be my go-to if I ate stuff like that, but I don't really eat sugary snacks. My body was built by Cheez-It, and I'm proud of that fact, but I'm also trying to not let Cheez-It run my life, as I look over and there's a giant bag of Cheetos. Anyway, so that's my choice on that one. All right, so next, another serious one. So solo content versus friend content versus collabs. Basically, this one was asking me what is the best kind of content to do, and it comes down to preference. So solo content's great because you can be really engaging with your community. You can talk to them. You can get to know them. You can do all these things with them. You can be amazing with just your community, and I love it. I love that idea. You can be really close to them. You can go and you can just spend that time on them. It's you and it's them. That's great. Friend content is amazing because if you're good friends with somebody, you can bounce off each other. A good example is Panda and I. If you guys don't know the Naked Panda over on Mixer, wonderful dude, love him to death. One of my best friends. We stream together a lot, and we're not even necessarily playing the same game. We're just in voice chat with each other. And it's because we have a good banter, and it keeps stream moving. So if one of us is a little tired, we can actually keep things pushing and moving along and going really, really well. And it seems to help fill dead space because if one of us is done talking, the other one can keep going. And it just works really well for the flow of conversation. It's much better to see friends and whatnot in YouTube content because you're getting much more interaction and you're not getting those points where the person's like, I don't know what to say. I've been already just going off the top of my head for the past 30 minutes for this 15-minute video. I already know I'm going to cut so much out. So it's one of those things where having a friend can make it nice, but at the same time, having a friend there makes it hard to cut out content. Panda and I also did a video for my YouTube that I just didn't put up of a troll level that I made a year and a half ago now. And when we made that, yeah, it was a year to year and a half. Anyway, so when I made that and we went and we played it when we forgot to hang out in real life, we kept having so much back and forth that it was hard to cut the content down to make it more towards the traditional style that you see a lot of Mario Maker content. So that made it tough for us because we're like, okay, we want to create and do these things, but it's hard to share this content and cut it down because we'd be in the middle of a conversation. One of us would finish our thought and then we'd start something else. You know, it was hard to cut out and find blank space. I mean, we recorded for over an hour and we took it down to 20 minutes somehow, which was just ungodly. So, but it was very tough to do that. And then collabs, I've noticed that collabs are much more like businessy oriented, if you will. Generally you do a collab and you're like, okay, I want to get to know this person. I want to do a collab. I want to work with them because I think it would be good for both of us. We could collaborate on something. They seem like a person that I like their personality. I want to see what it'd be like to make content with them. It's like that. Hi, I found an acquaintance. So I want to build something with this acquaintance, but I don't know how well it's gonna go if I build stuff with this acquaintance. So that's kind of like what I see collabs as, which they're not a bad thing. Collabs, it's not really bad. I think YouTube collabs make things a lot easier because, and not to mention you can pull somebody on like, oh, hey, I know you have this skill. Could you come help me out with this? You know, that's what you see a lot with collaborations, but it's really just like people joining together to do something and make a video or make a series of videos versus friends just kind of like goofing around. My preferred type of content is somewhere in between solo and friends, mostly because I've never really sat down and been like, hey, I want to work on this giant collab with a bunch of people. And I want to like, so because there's such a like collab feels so businessy to me. Whereas like just playing games with my friends is something that's normal, right? Like we would all play games with our friends. And so I find playing with my friends to be very entertaining. I enjoy that. It's cool. It's fun to do. But there are days where like I like streaming on my own. I played Mario Maker on my own tonight, and of course I'm recording this the night before it goes out. And I had a lot of fun. I just sat there and I talked with my chat, just like I talked to you guys, you know. And it's nice because, well, I mean, the thing is with them, I get an interaction back, right? Like you guys are listening to a podcast, hoping that I'll be enjoyable for the 30-minute commute you have to work or the 30-minute lunch break. And I'm so sorry about the videos, the podcasts that have been so much longer than that. But that's the kind of thing that we go and I do. And I like doing that because I like talking to you guys. I like interacting with you guys. I like making content for people. And I like being able to help them and watch them ingest that content and talk to them about that content. But I found a nice balance between friend and solo content that I also really enjoy and has been something that's been really good for me as a person as well. So yeah, I guess that's where I'm at with that one. And it's just kind of like, I guess they were asking which one's the best. I think it really depends on the content creators and the audience, because a YouTube audience generally I've noticed really likes friend stuff and stuff like that. It makes it easier for banter, but if you have a nice blend of it all, it's perfect. Like a nice blend works out great because then you get time where it's just you and them. You get that nice intimate time with your chat or with your community. You get times where you and your friends are just, you know, messing around, having fun, which is also great. And then collabs, you get to work with people and show off skills and stuff like that and help each other out, which is also cool. So that would be where I would go on that one. All right. The next one on my list, another funny one, is broccoli versus Brussels sprouts. Brussels sprouts are disgusting. They smell weird. They look like little heads of lettuce. And I just want to use a golf club to smack them across the yard. Broccoli, great. If it's steamed just right, it's perfect texture. It's a little bit fun. It's like you're sticking like a tiny little tree in your mouth. And it's adorable. And I like broccoli. Broccoli is really cool. I generally think about the way that like how Kevin Malone ate you know, broccoli in the office, and it's funny. I enjoy it. Broccoli is one that's much more around. Plus, if you got broccoli, you've got its close brother, the cauliflower. Like myself, some good old cauliflower as well. Although I think the true winner between these guys is probably, if we're going vegetables, steamed asparagus is probably my all-time favorite vegetable. Either that or carrots. Oh my gosh, carrots and asparagus are two, like, if you can get them just right, oh man, that's how you do it. And I just, oh, I love it. I love it so much. But I generally eat a lot of grains like potatoes and corn and potatoes and bread and potatoes and potato bread and potatoes and potatoes and potatoes and potatoes. I eat a lot of potatoes. I like to say it's because I'm Irish, but no, it's really just because I love potatoes. I'm not that Irish, so anyway. The next question it got asked to me tonight was, where is the best place to teach? At a high school, a college, or a university, or then like private, public, all that stuff. Okay, so to break down teaching, assuming that you like the, if you didn't know, I've been a teacher for 5 years. I'm a physics and astronomy teacher. And I have freshmen through seniors in high school. Next year it'll be just sophomores through seniors. Great stuff. Love that. Just so you're wondering why I got asked this question. I am not a huge fan of private schools. Private schools, you don't have to have necessarily a license to teach. You don't have to know what you're doing. You just have to know the content, really, and they're willing to do that. It's really a hit or miss because some private schools are very well funded, some are not. They're very much more variable between what's going on, but you have to deal, from what I've understood, much more political, like, and I don't mean like Trump versus Hillary political. I mean like interpersonnel politics, which you have to deal with at public schools as well. But with public schools, generally the main focus is the kids. And I can't talk too much about on a private school because I've never worked in a private school, but it's really hit or miss, I think, with private schools. Generally, if you feel very much and you believe in what you're doing there, I think it's great. I think when they can get people that have teaching licenses and know exactly what they're doing, I think that makes to have a really, really amazing school. It's just that that's not the case every single time. I've had friends that worked for private schools and didn't know how to teach. And they weren't required to know how to teach because it's private. There's no funding that comes from the government on it, local, state, or federal. So there is that. So there's some freedom there. I've taught in high school level public school for as I said, for the past 5 years. It's tough, public schools, because there are some areas where kids don't care at all. I've taught in areas where the kids didn't care because we didn't even know if the school was going to be open the next year. I worked at a school, and now note, this was all within like the same area. Like it was the same job. I've had the same job placement for the past 5 years, but I worked at 3 of the schools in my area. So the other one, it was like, it doesn't matter. I'll just do what mom and dad does. So I don't really care about passing classes. Like, worst case, I'll just go do that. I'll just go work for mom or dad. And then like, you've also have the kids where like, I hate where I live. And you watch them mature because they end up being like, oh, I love where I live, but I hate where I live. And then it's like, they want to leave. And I think that's the biggest drive, is when a kid wants to leave their home, you end up seeing them give themselves more opportunities to make sure that they can. And so I watch kids grow and develop and do such amazing things because they don't want to be home anymore. They want to go out and they want to explore and they want to do things, which is really cool because I live in a very rural area. So for them, it's like, oh my gosh, there's cities and suburbs and all these things, and it's not fields and cows and hay. And I think that's really, really big thing for them. College and university level, you have to have a master's or a doctorate to work higher up. You have to have a master's to work in community colleges, and if you want to work at most other colleges, oh, excuse me, I'm so sorry. Oh, it's been a long day. I'm recording this at like 10 o'clock at night. And if you teach at most universities and higher colleges, you generally have to have a doctorate degree, which I didn't want a doctorate in any of the three fields that I've learned in, which is education, physics, and mathematics. I didn't want a master's in any of those or a doctorate, which is why I've never really pushed to go do it. You have a lot more freedom. You don't have to care as much about the kids. You just go and you do your job. And if they don't know it, they don't know it. That's fine. I honestly think mentality-wise and stress-wise, the best place to work is probably college or university. You don't have the stress of having to worry about standardized tests. You don't have to worry about whether or not like the kids pass your class. Like if you can prove that you're teaching material and they're just not willing to learn it, then that's on them. It's much more responsibility on the student, whereas public high schools, it's much more on the responsibility of the teacher and the parents to make sure that stuff's getting done. And it's not as much on the kid as it is on you guys as it is on me and on the parents that I work with to make sure that stuff happens. So that would be the best place to work state of mind wise if I haven't had some of the experiences that I had as a high school teacher. When I have kids come back and want to visit me, that just is amazing. Having kids, like I had a girl the first year teaching. We took a picture on graduation day and she posted it to Twitter tagging me and just said, "This is the reason why I graduated high school." Like you get moments like that still chokes me up. It's been years and there was a lot that went on with that kid. I love her to death. I mean, she's getting ready to graduate college this year, which she didn't think she was going to be doing 4 years ago. You know, she walked into my room. She's like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't care. I'm going to go move. I think she was going to move down to Florida and just try to find a job and it was going to be okay. And eventually like kind of broke through the shell and showed her why her education was important and she needed to make a better educated choice and she needed to graduate high school to make sure that she could find what she needed. Because a lot of places, they don't like it if you don't have a high school degree. Now, you could get a GED. And I've actually found out recently that some branches of the military won't take you if you have a GED. They want to see that you have a high school diploma, which is very interesting. And so that could be some turns of events for some people and for businesses and stuff. From what I've always understood, it's always better to get your high school diploma. I understand there are circumstances, though, where you need to go get your GED. And I'm not saying that the GED is a bad thing. I just have bias because I like to see kids do that. But it's also good for, like, schools if the kid passes and graduates. So there's those problems with it, too. Anyway, I digress on that one very much. So I would say most likely the best place to go would be college. You don't have as much responsibility, but the experiences I've personally had and the kids and the experiences, I would say that high school has been the best for me because you help kids during such a formative time in their lives where they're not just hormonal freaks of nature, which I was one too. I definitely was. That's why I couldn't teach middle school. They're just so up and down. The emotions are crazy. I can't deal with it. But when you get to see them grow and they end up being a better student, a better person than they were the first day they walked into your class, it's just amazing. And I love seeing that. And I love watching them grow and stuff. And it's more personal. Like if I worked for a college, kids are a number. You know, they're not, I don't have to invest in them. I don't have to care about them. I care and I invest in all these kids. You know, I see them every day. So that would be my answer. I think high school's the best, like, for self-reward. And college is the best if you don't want to have to deal with the extra stresses that come with being at a high school. That would be my hot take on it. Now we have time for one more question, and this is going to end up being a shorter episode. So you're welcome, those of you that watch this during the short times. I'm so sorry that some of them have been over an hour. That was not intentional. And some of these are definitely, anyway, I digress. The last question was, why am I cute? Some say he was born with it. Some say it was Maybelline. I don't know. I got a beard. That's really it. I guess that I don't know. I got asked why am I cute, and I genetics maybe. I grew out the beard. I try to keep my beard nice. I use a nice beard oil. Oh my gosh, what's the place I get beard oil from? I'll shout them out. They're pretty awesome, actually. Oh my gosh, I can't even remember. It's like a something degrees beard oil. Oh, 45 degrees north. There it is. 45 degrees north beard and body company. Oh, one of my students, their dad is an ambassador for 45 degrees. And oh my gosh, I actually got the 45 degree stuff that they have. It smells so good. This isn't even an ad. I'm just telling you guys, this is a product that I enjoy using. So if you have a beard and you want to keep it nice and soft and stuff like that, keep it very good. I always suggest a good beard oil. And I really like, I've really liked Viking beards or Viking, I think it's Viking Revolution or something like that. And 45 Degrees North are the two brands I've very much enjoyed. Where 45 Degrees North, I'm probably going to keep going to them because I really enjoy the smell. It doesn't feel too oily. It doesn't leave my beard feeling oily afterwards. It just feels soft, and I like that. So that's probably why I'm cute, is because I take care of my beard and I wash my hair. And that's really all you guys ever see on stream. Because I don't, I mean, I guess you guys saw my ankle the other day. That was weird. Anyway, that's all I have. This has been a viewer podcast, right? So the viewers decided my topics to talk about. It was a lot of fun. I pretty much, most of this was off the cuff. I've thought about it just on a little bit. But this was my answers for you guys. I very much enjoyed doing this kind of stuff. If you guys have any questions for me, if you guys have anything you'd like to talk to me about, if you guys would like to have me choose anything that I do, or have any ideas that you'd like to hear about, have some type of content that you're struggling in and you need to know more about, or you're just starting up and you want to know how to do something, let me know. I've got a list of a bunch of things that might already be on my list, but it might not. And so if I could give you guys an idea or give something like that and help you guys out, I would love to do that. Again, please continue to watch the podcast. Please subscribe wherever you're watching. We're on like 6 or 7 different platforms. Again, click the link down in the link tree if you're on a platform but you'd like to check out what the other ones are. Maybe you have been watching on Anchor or listening on Anchor, but you're really like, oh my God, I wish I could listen on iTunes. We have an iTunes link. If you're watching the YouTube, but you want to listen to this in the car ride, and you're like, oh my gosh, where's a great place to listen to this because YouTube sucks in a car. You could go and you could be like, oh my gosh, there's Google Podcasts, Pocket Cast. We got a bunch of them there. So I'll make sure that that's down below. It has all my stuff. I'll re-put up my Twitter and stuff like that. But that all being said, I hope you guys have a great day. I hope you guys have a wonderful time doing whatever you're doing. I send much love and good vibes your way. And that all being said, I'll talk to you guys next time. Adios.